I used to think silence meant stability. If a marriage didn't have shouting matches or slammed doors, I believed it was healthy. If a husband came home every night, paid the bills, and kissed his wife on the forehead before work, I thought that meant loyalty. I was painfully wrong. The night my entire life cracked open didn't start with an argument. There was no confrontation, no dramatic scene. It started with something so small that, at first, I almost ignored it. A notification. It was 11:47 p.m. I remember the time because it burned itself into my memory like a scar. My husband's phone lit up on the nightstand, casting a soft glow across the dark bedroom. I had just finished folding laundry, his shirts, my pajamas, our son's school clothes. Ordinary life, normal life. Then I saw the message preview. Last night was unreal. I can still feel you. Below it was a heart emoji and a name I didn't recognize. Lena. My entire body went cold. Daniel was asleep beside me, breathing deeply, completely at peace. His face looked relaxed, almost innocent, like a man with no secrets, like a man who hadn't just been exposed by a single careless mistake. I didn't touch the phone. People always ask later, "Did you go through his phone?" As if that's the real crime. But that night, I didn't need to. One sentence told me everything my heart had been afraid to admit for years. Last night, Daniel had told me he was working late. A client dinner downtown. He even complained about the restaurant when he came home. Said the food was overpriced and the night exhausting. I believed him. I always believed him. That night, sleep never came. I stared at the ceiling, listening to the steady rhythm of his breathing, wondering how someone could lie so easily, and then sleep so peacefully beside the person they were betraying. We had been married for 13 years. 13 years of shared memories, shared struggles, shared dreams. We met in our 20s, when love felt simple and promises felt permanent. We built a life together from nothing, or so I thought. Looking back, the signs were there. They always are. Daniel had changed. He wasn't cruel or openly distant, just emotionally unavailable. Always tired, always busy. His phone never left his hand. He showered the moment he got home. He stopped asking about my day, stopped noticing when I dressed up or cut my hair. I told myself this was normal. This was marriage after years. This was adulthood. By morning, I was running on no sleep and pure denial. Daniel kissed me goodbye like he always did. "Love you," he said, grabbing his keys. For a split second, I almost asked him everything, almost demanded the truth. Instead, I smiled and said, "Drive safe." The door closed behind him, and I collapsed. I slid down the wall and pressed my hand over my mouth to keep from screaming. My chest felt tight, like I couldn't get enough air. My body knew the truth before my mind was ready to accept it. Something was wrong, and it wasn't new. The day passed in a blur. I burned lunch, forgot to answer calls, nearly missed picking up our son from school. That one message replayed in my head again and again. By evening, I knew one thing for sure. I needed proof. Not because I didn't trust my instincts, but because once you see the truth, you can stop blaming yourself. Daniel came home late again. "A long day," he said, loosening his tie. I'm white. I watched him carefully. His eyes avoided mine. His phone buzzed once in his pocket, and his hand moved instantly, almost on instinct. "Dinner's ready," I said quietly. He nodded, already distracted. That's when it happened. The mistake. Daniel walked into the kitchen to wash his hands and placed his phone on the counter. Unlocked. My heart started pounding so hard I thought he might hear it. Daniel never left his phone unlocked. Ever. It was always face down, always locked, always guarded like it held something dangerous. This time, he forgot. I told myself not to do it. I told myself I didn't want to be that woman, the one who looks for pain. But my feet moved anyway. I picked up the phone. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold it. The screen was open to a messaging app I had never seen before. At the top of the conversation was a name, Lena. I scrolled, and my world shattered. Messages flooded the screen, hundreds of them. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. "I miss you already. Last night shouldn't have ended. Hotel again on Thursday? I hate lying, but I can't stop seeing you. I need you." My chest burned. This wasn't flirting. This wasn't a moment of weakness. This was a full-blown affair. Photos followed. Not graphic, but intimate enough to destroy me. Her smiling in a hotel mirror, his arm around her waist. A photo of rumpled sheets with a caption, "Worth sneaking out for." Dates stretched back 3 years. 3 years. That meant while I was pregnant, while I was dealing with anxiety, while I begged him to spend more time with our family. He was meeting another woman for secret hookups, planned ones, hotels, late nights, excuses. My husband wasn't just cheating. He was living a second life. My stomach turned. I had to sit down before my legs gave out completely. I scrolled further, even though every word felt like a knife. I wish I met you first. You make me feel alive. She wouldn't understand us. She. That was me. Then I heard the water shut off. Daniel turned around. He saw me holding his phone. The color drained from his face so fast it terrified me. "What are you doing with my phone?" he asked quietly. Not angry. Afraid. I looked up at the man I thought I knew. The man I trusted with my life. "Who is Lena?" I asked. His mouth opened, but no words came out. Before he could say anything, a new message popped up on the screen. "Still sore, but I do it all over again. When can I see you?" Daniel lunged for the phone, and in that moment, I realized something chilling. This wasn't over. It was just beginning. Conflict begins. Daniel froze when the message appeared. For half a second, neither of us moved. The phone buzzed softly in my hand, like it was alive, like it knew it had just detonated a bomb inside our marriage. "Give me that," Daniel said, his voice low and tight. I pulled the phone closer to my chest. "No," I said. My voice surprised even me. It didn't shake. It didn't crack. It sounded steady. "You've had years to lie to me. You can wait 5 more minutes." His jaw clenched. I had never seen fear on his face before. Not real fear. Not the kind that comes when your carefully built world starts to collapse. "You're taking this out of context," he said quickly. "It's not what you think." I let out a hollow laugh. "Not what I think." I held up the phone. 3 years of messages, hotel meetups, and hookups are. What, Daniel? A misunderstanding? He ran a hand through his hair and paced the kitchen like a trapped animal. "You invaded my privacy." That word, privacy, hit me like a slap. "Privacy," I said quietly. "You lost the right to that when you started sleeping with someone else." Silence fell between us, thick and suffocating. Daniel finally sat down across from me. He looked tired. Not guilty tired, like a man annoyed that his secret had become inconvenient. "It just happened," he said. "At first." I stared at him. "For 3 years?" He exhaled sharply. "It wasn't supposed to last. But it did," I said. "You kept choosing her, over and over again." He didn't deny it. That hurt more than any excuse would have. "She doesn't mean anything," he said after a moment. It was physical. An escape. You and I. We've been distant. There it was. The blame. "So this is my fault?" I asked. "Because I got tired? Because I asked you to help more at home? Because I didn't smile enough while holding everything together?" "That's not what I'm saying." "It's exactly what you're saying." He leaned forward, lowering his voice as if our son couldn't hear us from down the hall. "You don't understand what it feels like to feel wanted again." Something inside me snapped. "I wanted you," I said. "Every day. You just stopped looking." Daniel looked away. I stood up, my hands shaking now. "How many times?" I asked. "How many hotels? How many nights did you come home and crawl into bed next to me after being with her?" He didn't answer. That answer was enough. I walked past him and locked myself in the bathroom. The moment the door shut, I slid down against it and cried so hard I thought I might throw up. I stared at my reflection, puffy eyes, pale skin, a woman I barely recognized. I wasn't just heartbroken. I was humiliated. That night, Daniel slept on the couch. Or at least, that's what he said. I didn't check. I didn't care. I lay awake in bed, replaying everything I'd ignored over the years. The late nights, the business trips, the sudden gym obsession, the emotional distance. It all fit now. Too perfectly. The next morning, I didn't confront him again. I watched. I noticed how he guarded his phone again, how he deleted apps, how he tried to act normal, too normal. He made breakfast, asked about my day, even apologized. "I never meant to hurt you," he said softly, but he never said he'd stop. That scared me more than the affair itself. Over the next few days, I became someone I didn't recognize. I paid attention. I noticed the way his phone buzzed late at night, and how he always stepped outside to answer. I noticed how he suddenly had meetings on weekends. I noticed how his apologies felt rehearsed. Then came the message that changed everything. It wasn't meant for me. Daniel left his laptop open on the dining table while he showered. An email notification popped up in the corner of the screen. From Lena. Subject. Are you going to tell her? My heart stopped. I sat down slowly and opened the email. I can't keep doing this, she had written. You said you were unhappy. You said you were stuck. I'm tired of being your secret. If you don't tell her soon, I will. I stared at the screen, my hands numb. So that was it. I wasn't just the betrayed wife. I was the obstacle. I scrolled further. There were replies from Daniel. I just need time. She'd fall apart. I'll handle it. He was protecting her feelings, not mine. That night, I didn't cry. I planned. I started digging deeper. Bank statements, credit card charges, hotel bookings under fake business names, gifts I never received, trips I was told were work-related. The affair wasn't just emotional and physical. It was expensive. He had spent thousands on them, while I budgeted groceries, while I skipped things for myself, while I trusted him. 3 days later, Daniel came home with flowers. I want to fix this, he said. We can go to counseling. I took the flowers and placed them gently on the counter. Did you tell her? I asked. His eyes widened slightly. Tell who? I smiled for the first time in days. You know who? He went silent. That was my answer. That night, after Daniel fell asleep on the couch, I did something I never thought I would do. I messaged Lena, not angrily, not emotionally, just one line. Hi, I'm Daniel's wife. We need to talk. The typing bubble appeared almost instantly, and as I stared at my phone, I realized the real truth wasn't coming from my husband. It was coming from her. Betrayal revealed. The typing bubble disappeared. Then it appeared again, then stopped. For a moment, I thought she wouldn't reply. I thought maybe she'd block me, panic, run back to Daniel. Instead, my phone buzzed. Lena, I've been waiting for this message. Those 6 words sent a chill through my entire body. We didn't meet in person. Not yet. She said she needed to protect herself. I understood what that really meant. She was protecting him. Or maybe she was protecting the version of herself that still believed she wasn't the villain. We started texting. Carefully at first. She asked how I found out. I told her the truth. That Daniel got careless. That one small mistake exposed years of lies. Her reply came fast. He always said you never noticed anything. That hurt more than I expected. What did he tell you about me? I typed. There was a long pause. Then the messages came, one after another, like she'd been holding them in for years. He said you were cold. He said you stopped wanting him. He said you stayed together for the kid. He said the marriage was already dead. I felt like I was reading my own autopsy. He lied, I wrote, to both of us. She didn't argue. Instead, she sent something that made my hands start shaking. A photo. It was Daniel, lying shirtless on a hotel bed, his wedding ring still on his finger. The timestamp was from a night he told me he was working late. I wanted to throw up. He never took it off, she wrote. I asked him once. He said it didn't matter. Didn't matter. I swallowed hard. How long? I asked. Her reply was instant. Almost 4 years. 4, not 3. 4 years of lies. 4 years of hookups. 4 years of coming home to me like nothing happened. I felt stupid, naive, furious. Were you in love with him? I asked. She hesitated this time. At first, no. It was supposed to be just sex. We met at a conference. Drinks turned into a hotel room. He told me he was married but unhappy. I should have walked away. But you didn't, I said. Neither did he. She wasn't wrong. What kind of relationship was it? I asked. Even though I already knew the answer would destroy me. She didn't sugarcoat it. Pure hookups at first. Hotels. Late nights. Weekends when you thought he was out of town. Sometimes twice a week. Sometimes more. I stared at the wall, my vision blurry. How many times? I typed. Her response came slowly, like she was counting. I stopped counting after 50. My heart dropped into my stomach. 50 times. 50 betrayals. 50 nights he touched another woman. Then came home and touched me. Did he ever talk about leaving me? I asked. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Yes. My chest tightened. He said he loved me. He said he felt alive with me. He said he was scared to hurt you. But he promised. Someday. Someday. I thought of all the somedays I waited for. Someday we'd take a vacation. Someday he'd slow down at work. Someday we'd feel close again. He was giving his somedays to someone else. Why now? I asked. Why were you going to tell me? Her answer was honest. Brutal. Because I found out I wasn't the only one. My fingers froze. What do you mean? There was a long pause. The longest one yet. Then she sent screenshots. More messages. Not between her and Daniel. Between Daniel and another woman. Different name. Different number. Same words. Same hotel references. Same lies. He told me I was special, Lena wrote. Then I found out I was just convenient. My stomach twisted. He wasn't just cheating on me. He was cheating on his mistress. How many? I asked. At least 2 that I know of. I laughed then. A broken, hysterical laugh that turned into sobbing. The man I married wasn't just unfaithful. He was addicted. That night, Daniel came home acting normal. Too normal. How was your day? He asked. I looked at him and wondered how many women had looked into those same eyes and believed his lies. Fine, I said. He smiled, kissed my cheek, went to shower. I sat on the bed, phone in my hand, reading and rereading Lena's messages. Then she sent one last thing. A video. I hesitated before opening it. I shouldn't have, but I did. It was short, shaky, dimly lit. Daniel's voice was unmistakable. Laughing, breathing heavy, saying her name, saying things he had never said to me. I dropped the phone like it burned my skin. That was it. There was no denial left. No excuses. No working through it. My marriage was over. But my story wasn't. Because as shattered as I felt, something else was growing inside me. Not sadness. Not fear. Anger. Cold. Focused. Dangerous anger. I wiped my tears, stood up, and looked at myself in the mirror. I won't beg, I whispered, and I won't lose. That night, while Daniel slept peacefully in our bed, I made a decision. If he thought getting caught was the worst thing that could happen, he had no idea what was coming next. The turning point. The next morning, I woke up calm. That terrified me more than the tears ever had. Calm meant clarity. And clarity meant I was done being confused, done waiting for answers, done hoping the man I married would suddenly become someone else. Daniel was already awake, scrolling through his phone in bed like nothing had changed. Like my world hadn't burned to the ground. Morning, he said casually. I watched him for a long second, the way his face relaxed when he thought he was safe, the way he didn't even try to hide anymore. I know, I said. He looked up. Know what? Everything. His body stiffened. I know about Lena. I know about the hotels. I know about the others. I paused. And I know you were never going to tell me. The color drained from his face. Who told you? He asked. Not what did I do? Not I'm sorry. Just who told you? That's what you're worried about. I asked quietly. He sat up. You went behind my back. I almost laughed. You lived behind my back for 4 years. Silence filled the room. I didn't mean for it to get this far, he said. I was going to end it. When? I asked. Before or after the next hotel booking? He rubbed his temples. I'm human. I made mistakes. Mistakes don't have calendars, I said. Mistakes don't have favorite hotels. That's when his tone changed. Defensive. Cold. What do you want from me? He snapped. I said I'm sorry. Isn't that enough? I stared at him, really stared. The man in front of me didn't look like my husband anymore. He looked like a stranger, someone calculating, someone cornered. I want the truth, I said. For once. He hesitated, then leaned back against the headboard. I was bored, he said flatly. Our marriage felt dead. Lena made me feel desired. So did the others. The others. Hearing him say it so easily broke something inside me. And our son? I asked. Did you ever think about him? He sighed. I never planned to leave. So you plan to keep cheating forever? He didn't answer. That was my confirmation. I stood up. I'm filing for divorce. He shot out of bed. You can't just do that. I already am. You'll destroy our family, he said. You'll ruin his life. No. You did. I'm protecting myself, I said. Something you never did. That afternoon, I met with a lawyer. I laid everything out. Bank statements, hotel charges, messages, screenshots, videos. Years of betrayal documented neatly in folders. The lawyer leaned back in his chair. You have a strong case, he said. Very strong. For the first time since that night, I felt something close to relief. When I got home, Daniel was waiting. He tried a different tactic. Tears. I'll end it, he said. All of it. I'll go to therapy. I'll give you access to everything. I shook my head. You're only sorry because you got caught. That's not true, he said desperately. I love you. No, I said. You loved the life I gave you. You loved the stability. You loved that I trusted you. That night, I packed his bags. He stood in the doorway, watching me fold his clothes, the same way I had folded laundry the night everything started. I never thought you'd actually leave, he said. I never thought you'd betray me, I replied. He moved out 2 days later. That's when the rumors started. His coworkers began whispering. Friends stopped calling. Questions started circulating. He tried to control the narrative, telling people we grew apart. I didn't correct them. Not yet. Then Lena messaged me again. He called me, begged me to take him back. I felt a strange sense of satisfaction. What did you say? I asked. I said no, she replied. I told him I wasn't interested in being one of many anymore. She paused. But there's something you should know. My stomach tightened. He didn't just cheat for sex, she wrote. He recorded some of it. My hands started shaking. What do you mean? I typed. Videos, photos, hidden folders. I didn't know until recently. I think you need to check his cloud storage. A cold wave washed over me. That night, after Daniel came to pick up the rest of his things, I logged into the shared family cloud account. What I found there made my blood run cold. Folders, names, dates, and one folder labeled Poem. I clicked it and realized some betrayals don't stay in hotel rooms. Climax plus resolution. I stared at the screen until my eyes burned. The folder labeled Home sat there like a ticking bomb. My finger hovered over the trackpad, my heart pounding so violently I thought I might pass out. Every instinct screamed at me not to open it. But I had learned something about myself over the last few weeks. I was done being afraid of the truth. I clicked. At first, nothing loaded. Then thumbnails appeared, short video clips, still images. My stomach twisted so hard I had to grip the edge of the desk to stay upright. Daniel. In our house. Our bedroom. Our bathroom. I felt dizzy. The first video started playing automatically, muted. I recognized the bedspread instantly. The nightstand. The lamp I had picked out myself. And there he was. With another woman. Not Lena. Someone else. Laughing. Kissing. Touching her like this was his space. Like this was his right. I slammed the laptop shut and ran to the bathroom, barely making it to the toilet before throwing up. My entire body shook as if I had been poisoned. He hadn't just betrayed me. He had violated my home. My safe place. The place where I slept. Where my child slept. I sat on the cold tile floor afterward, my back against the tub, staring at nothing. My hands were trembling so badly I couldn't even wipe my tears. This wasn't just infidelity anymore. This was something darker. Something calculated. I opened the laptop again, forcing myself to breathe. I needed to know everything. The videos were dated. Most were taken when I was either out of town visiting my mother, working late, or, God help me, picking up our son from school. He had timed it, planned it. One video stopped me cold. The woman was standing in front of the mirror in my bathroom, wearing my robe. My robe. Daniel's voice was behind the camera, laughing. You look good in my wife's things, he said. I felt something inside me snap completely. That night, I didn't cry anymore. I called my lawyer. This goes beyond divorce, he said after I explained. You need to save everything. Don't confront him yet. But it was already too late for patience. Daniel came by the next evening to pick up the last of his things. He walked in like he still belonged there. I was sitting at the dining table with my laptop open. Hey, he said cautiously. You okay? I turned the screen toward him. His face drained of all color. Where did you get that? He whispered. Our shared cloud, I said. You really should have changed the password. He lunged forward. You had no right. No right? I stood up so fast my chair slammed backward. You filmed women having sex in my home. Around my child. Do you understand how serious that is? He looked panicked now. Truly panicked. I never shared them, he said quickly. It was private. That makes it worse, I said. You turned our marriage into your personal porn collection. He reached for me. I stepped back. Get out, I said. No. You're overreacting, he said, his voice shaking. We can fix this. No, I said coldly. You can't fix who you are. That night, I sent copies of everything to my lawyer and backed them up in 3 different places. The divorce proceedings moved fast after that. Daniel tried everything: apologies, threats, manipulation. He accused me of trying to ruin him. He begged me not to destroy his career. I didn't have to do anything. The truth did that on its own. When the videos became part of the legal record, his employer was notified. An internal investigation followed. He was quietly let go within weeks. Friends stopped calling him. Some reached out to me instead, apologizing for not seeing it sooner. Lena messaged me one last time. "I'm sorry," she wrote. I didn't know the full truth either. I believed her. In a strange way, we were both victims of the same lie. The divorce was finalized 6 months later. I got the house, full custody, and something even more valuable: myself. Daniel tried to talk to me afterward, tried to stay connected for our son. I kept communication minimal and through lawyers. One day, while dropping off our son, he looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. "You look different," he said. I was. "I am," I replied. Life didn't magically become perfect. Healing isn't a straight line. There were nights I woke up sweating, replaying things in my head. There were moments of doubt, moments of anger, moments of grief for the life I thought I had. But there was also peace, real peace. I redecorated the bedroom. New bedspread, new paint, new energy. I turned that space back into mine. I went to therapy, not because I was broken, but because I deserved support. Slowly, I began to feel like myself again. Stronger, smarter, more aware. One afternoon, my son asked me, "Mom, why don't you cry anymore?" I smiled softly and pulled him into my arms. "Because I learned something important," I said. "Being sad isn't the same as being weak." Years later, I ran into Daniel at a grocery store. He looked older, smaller, like someone who had lost more than just a marriage. He nodded at me. I nodded back. Nothing more. As I walked away, I realized something that surprised me. I felt nothing. No anger, no pain, no regret, just relief. He hid his affair for years. But one small mistake exposed everything overnight. And in doing so, it gave me my life back.